Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Diana Mayfield, and I am the head of content here at Design Files. Today, we have Paige Hayes, founder and lead designer at Hayes & Co. Interiors. And she's going to be teaching us how to make a great living as an e-designer. And Paige and I were just chatting that she's having a busy week. You're taking off to travel. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we are. This week is crazy. We are trying to get our house that we're in right now ready for Airbnb so we can rent it while we travel. And we're going to Europe. We're going to Sicily for 6 weeks, and then southern Italy, and then southern France. So we'll be gone like, I don't know, 2.5 months.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Such a nice time to go too before the summer crowds.
That's what I hope. And it's like been so cold here. We're in Colorado right now. So, I mean,
Okay.
it's not going to be like summer weather, but I'm excited to get out of the like -20 weather.
Yes, that is awesome. So that plays well into our talk today because obviously, being a digital nomad is super key to your business, right? So let's dive in. We've got your slides up here already. I usually forget, I usually put them on after, but I forgot I left them up. So they're here already. So we can dive right in.
Cool.
So I am going to disappear and I will pop back in for Q&A. Everybody who is watching, feel free to pop your questions or comments as they come, so that way we have stuff to dive into when we get into Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you. Um, okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I personally always dreamed of having a location independent job. So, like the freedom, I guess, just to go where we wanted and when we wanted, and then still be able to make a living while doing it. So, I actually just kind of set my sights on figuring it out. And I just want to share some of that with you guys today. And virtual design is crazy because if you were to have said to someone 5 years ago, like, yes, I would love to design your property, but I'm going to do it without ever stepping foot in the space, they would have been like, you are crazy. Absolutely not. But honestly, a lot has changed since 5 years ago. And now we have an incredible number of platforms, resources, and most importantly, like a really unprecedented connection to other people that allows almost anyone really with a passion and determination to do what they love and to make money at it online. So, the business model that I want to share with you today is great, not only for the reasons of location freedom, but for other reasons as well. I know that there are a lot of current designers out there who want to learn how to take on more projects while maybe at the same time removing the stress that comes along with things like procurement, logistics, receiving, installs, and just all of the responsibility that falls on your shoulders for every little detail. It's a lot. So let's dive into how I do it differently. I have so much to cover here today. So honestly, I'm probably going to talk really fast so that we have time for questions at the end because I know that people are going to have them. But I just always want to make sure to give as much information as possible because when I come to these kinds of things, like I really want to get as much information as possible. So just bear with me. I'm going to move quickly. I'm going to give you a lot, but I think we'll probably be able to Diana can confirm this, but I think we'll probably be able to like give you guys the slides somewhere later on if you want them, and also the recording. So first of all, who am I to be telling you all of this? My name is Paige Hayes. I am the founder and the lead designer of Hayes & Co. Interiors. We are an exclusively virtual design firm specializing in short-term rental design. I am also the creator of a range of design education programs, including the STR Design for Hosts Complete Airbnb Design Program and the Virtual Designers Inner Circle membership community. So I'm a lot of things, I guess we all are, but basically I'm just a regular person who made some kind of out of the box decisions. I have been in the design industry for over 13 years now. I started in high-end full service residential design in my hometown, which is Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And then since then, I've designed and consulted on new builds, remodels, just furnishing projects, refreshes, unique structures, and over 100 short-term rental properties. So you name it, like I've basically done it, except commercial design. I don't do commercial design. I started my journey into virtual design over 4 years ago when something big happened in our life. 4 years ago, my husband and I quit our jobs and we sold our primary home and most of our stuff. And we moved into an RV with our two little boys and our tiny dog. And we've been traveling the country and the world full time since then, all while I design short term rentals in other places. In fact, I've strategically built my virtual design process and my business model over time so that we can travel full time and be completely location independent. In order to do this, I've had to fumble my way through what was at that point a brand new industry and make rules and processes up on my own as I went. And what it has developed into is a business that allows us to live our dreams and travel, even as a single income family. And since I've learned so much about the hard way to do all of this and just tweaked and fine tuned things, and I've questioned myself and I pulled my hair out, I felt discouraged, you name it, I've been there. What's come out of it, though, is a reliable process for doing the work that we all love from wherever we are. And that's something that I feel like is worth sharing. So, in addition to running my design firm, I also teach others about what I do. And I believe that sharing knowledge and lifting each other up and doing the absolute best we can to help each other out, we're all going to rise together and just really create something amazing. So, yeah, I know a lot of us have felt this way. We love design, but we want more freedom. We want less stress. We want the ability to kind of just make our own rules. So let's dive into the details of that. I do feel like I should make a disclaimer at the very beginning here. Virtual design and the virtual design business model that we use and that I'm about to tell you about is different. It is very different. We do things in virtual design that I never in a million years would have considered doing in high end full service design. In fact, I probably would have been pretty judgy about anyone doing things this way. It took a lot of thought and consideration and really looking at how to be successful in this business and in a different business model for me to make these changes and implement them in my business, but it works. So I would like to ask you as you go into this with an open mind and just kind of try to separate um, what I'm about to tell you from what you know to be true about traditional design, because it is not that. And if you want to take your own business into a virtual setting, you need to be prepared to make some changes as well. So, I, of course, feel like there are a lot more benefits to virtual design than there are drawbacks, but I'm going to go ahead and be super transparent about both the benefits and the drawbacks. Of course, the biggest benefit is that I get to work from anywhere I want, which is a huge benefit of the virtual design process. My workflow also allows me to work from my phone or my laptop. I've spent a lot of time driving across the country, like with my laptop on my lap in the truck while my husband's driving, and I'm, handing out snacks every so often to my kids in the back seat and doing projects that way. And I don't know, not everybody has a different workflow and a different pace, but I actually love that. So one thing that I also love about virtual design is that it moves pretty quickly. So I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 15, and I've been working around it ever since then. And I have to be totally honest and say that the 2+ year timelines of high end full service just did not hold my attention very well. I really, really love the fast paced nature of virtual design where all the projects are so different. They're in different places around the country, and we get to do the most fun parts and then move on to the next one. So it's a blast for me. Um, Another benefit is it's kind of mixed. So you can find things for the lowest price for your clients online, which is both a blessing and a curse of virtual design. So you're going to see it on the next slide on the drawbacks too. But the thing is, anymore, we have so many clients shopping our selections online, even in full service, unless you are very high end, white glove, like low touch, people are able to find things online. And it's kind of a bummer, but it's the nature of the beast in an increasingly virtual society. And the truth is that online retailers are now able to sell trade manufacturers directly to the public at lower prices than a lot of us can even get with a design discount. So instead of fighting against this, we are working with it. With the business model we use, which I'm going to talk about later on, we are able to find the best prices for our clients and still get commissions for ourselves, which definitely breeds a sense of trust with the client for sure, and allows us to be, just transparent about what we do. So after doing high stakes full service design for nearly a decade, there were a lot of things that I decided I did not want to do anymore when I started Hayes and Co. In our virtual business model, there's a lot less stress in managing logistics. Basically, once the design is complete, we get to essentially just hand over the project to the client or the installer and relinquish responsibility and just move on to the next one. Since our clients place their own orders with the shopping list that we provide, we don't have to worry if something doesn't arrive in time, if it becomes damaged, needs to be replaced, if the contractor's taking longer than they said they would. We don't have to collect or remit sales tax, manage POs or invoicing. There are so many things that we just don't have to do. And then my last favorite thing about it is that when you are doing virtual design, you get to set the rules. I know that as designers and business owners, like we already get to do this in a way for the most part, but there are definitely a lot more norms and expectations in traditional full service design. And with virtual design, you get to be in control of what you do and what you don't want to do. And you can build your packages and your deliverables around that. So, of course, while there are benefits, there are also drawbacks. And over time, we have developed our systems to address and remedy these drawbacks as much as we can. But I definitely want to be straightforward about them. First and foremost, to me, the biggest drawback, hands down, is that you have less control over the outcome of your project. So while you can be as detailed, as clear, and specific in your presentation, your floor plans, your install guide as it's possible to be, at the end of the day, the client is responsible for the execution. And I'm not going to lie, it happens more than rarely, I will say, where people go rogue and things do not pan out the exact way that they are supposed to. And that can be really frustrating, especially when you put so much into making sure that they had everything that they needed for a successful design execution. Another potential drawback is that design fees and client budgets are generally less, significantly less, than in full service design. It's no secret that people who are hiring virtual designers usually aren't the same people who want that high touch, white glove experience. And that goes hand in hand with what they have to spend. But again, when considered with the trade off that you aren't responsible for receiving, install, setup, damages and returns, procurement, and all of those things, and the fact that you can complete significantly more projects because of that, it actually evens out pretty nicely, at least in my opinion. On top of that, you are competing with places like Havenly, who offer virtual design at ridiculously low prices. And then other places like Shop LTK, where influencers are offering shoppable room boards for free. So that is something that you need to contend with, and then just really kind of decide what it is that sets you apart and makes you different than the rest, and then lean into that really hard. So for us, that's Airbnb design and being the experts on every facet of that industry. But for you, it could really be anything that you want, anything that you love. You get to decide. We talked about clients shopping you online on the last slide, but this does happen quite a bit in virtual design, which is why we do things the way we do. So we'll talk more about that specifically and how we work it in a little while. Last, the drawback is that it can feel very daunting to try to establish yourself and build a reputation nationwide versus in one small locale or one city. Yeah, it's an overwhelming feeling. But for the record, we still do work on referrals. So within small communities and what feels like a tight niche, we just have the privilege of completing projects in a ton of different locations. And that's the power of like online community building and online networking, which we're also going to go into. And it's also the beauty of setting yourself apart and really niching down. It takes your client base from like potentially anyone to a more cozy and very achievable group of people. Um, oh yeah, this picture is a good example of the drawbacks. So first of all, this client went rogue and they made their own choices when sourcing. Clearly, they were not the choices that we would have made. So you can see like we have on the design board some really nicely selected Serena and Lily pillows. You see our art, everything is tying together really nicely here. Execution, not so great. And then the photographer came in and did nothing. The drapes are all messed up. And one of the pillows is face down on the bed. The lampshade is crooked with the seam in the front. So yeah, a lot. A lot of things can potentially be not as perfect as when you have control of the full process, but again, benefits, drawbacks. So, the first thing that you need to do before you do anything else when you're trying to position yourself as a virtual designer is get solid on your system and your process and your deliverables. And while this may not be actually easy, it is pretty simple. Even though you'll likely never set foot in the property, you're going to have to use a number of different tools to make sure that the final result looks exactly as you planned or as close as possible. And it's not always going to be perfect, but there are a lot of things that you can do to make sure that it's as close to perfect as possible. So those would be space planning, design boards, stocking lists, which we provide stocking lists for our Airbnb clients of, what sheets they should use, what mattress heights, that kind of thing. And then the install guide. And you need to know your process front to back and be ready to talk about it and know why what you offer is different and know exactly what your clients are looking for. You also need to humanize yourself. And that is one inherent leg up that you have over places like Havenly or like Decorilla. You are you, and you can offer a personalized boutique experience coming from a strong background in full service design or in staging or wherever you come from. So, show your face, do a discovery call, talk about yourself. I cannot stress this enough. This is a society wide shift that's happening. People are no longer trusting big business and faceless corporations as much. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to all the time. They want a connection. So you can use this as your superpower as a virtual designer. Along with your systems, you also need to have a really solid idea and a plan for how the project is going to go after you hand it off. This means giving your clients all of the tools for success that they could possibly need. Again, they are ultimately responsible, but you want to set them up for success. So this will make them happy, and it will also reflect well on you when your project comes out great. This is how referrals and repeat customers happen. And this is where people start talking about you or dropping your name to others, or in Facebook groups or wherever, and your business really starts to grow. If you came to my last Design Files presentation, I think it was last year. It was last year. Well, I mean, everything was last year since it's January, but it was even before that. I think it was in 2023. Anyway, I digress. You may remember me talking about this before, but there is no way to position yourself as an expert virtual designer online that is better than going online and just talking about what you do. So if you aren't sure what to say, go ask ChatGPT. It will give you some great topics and content ideas, and it can even help you relate them to your niche or whatever differentiating factor you've come up with for yourself. There's just a suggestion here for a prompt that you could use. And you can take your expertise then over to Facebook groups. And we'll go into it a little bit more, but Facebook groups, I think, are still one of the best ways to gain recognition as an expert in your field virtually. And the value of them in building a virtual business is like, it's hard to understate. So here's just one example of positioning yourself as an expert. So talk about what's important in your niche or your industry. Talk about how others might do things one way, but how you do it differently and why. So again, this is virtual Airbnb design is a very, very specific niche, but this speaks directly to our clients or our potential clients. And it kind of grabs people's attention. It's funny, it's entertaining, but then in the caption, we really dive into why it's so important to focus on the guest experience, why other people aren't doing that, and how that's how we do, that's our business model, and how it's going to make our clients successful in their investments. So just making yourself an expert, talking about it, it's going to get in front of the right people thanks to algorithms. So the next thing that we are going to be talking about here is what you should and shouldn't be responsible for in your virtual STR projects or virtual projects of any kind. So this is my personal opinion and my business model, and I know different designers do things different ways, but this is specifically how I've built my business and how I've found success with my projects and my income and my personal time. The most important thing, though, is to decide what success means to you and then to create your business model accordingly, because you get to make the rules here. So, the topic of how to price your services is a training all in itself. We actually did a full hour training on it a few weeks ago in our BDIC membership community, but we can definitely break it down at least into the basics today just to get a start on things. So, first, it's helpful, I think, to start at the end, which I realize doesn't sound like it makes sense. But if there's a certain money that you want or that you need to make every month, start there, work backwards. Or even if you won't be billing hourly, start at the hourly rate that you would like to set for yourself and work from there. So, like with everything else, there are a lot of things to think about when pricing your virtual design services that will be different from how you would price full service. Think about how much people will pay for the services that you're offering. Take into account that this is a virtual service that takes a lot of stress off of you and does put some of it onto the client. In a way, what we are offering is a very detailed level of consulting, since we will not see the property personally or have a physical hand on any of the items that go into it. Take a look around at what other people are charging for virtual design. You don't have to do what they're doing, but it does help to know. Um, Also, ask yourself a bunch of questions. So, how many projects do you want to take on at one time? How much money do you want to make per month? What are you going to offer for the price that you charge? How long is each project going to take you? Answering these questions is going to help you start to put those puzzle pieces together of how much you will want to charge per project. If you do this and find out that you are lacking in the take home department, you can think about other things like additional revenue streams, add ons, changing up your package and deliverables, minimum project size, or working with a partner who can do the procurement, the receiving, and the install to give your clients a more full service experience while you're able to still just offer your virtual package. Then the next thing you need to determine is, or the next thing you need to do to determine your structure. The most common structures are hourly, flat rate, and percentage based. So, again, benefits, drawbacks to all of them. I used to do hourly, which was helpful at the beginning when nailing down how long things really take, and that was coming out of that full service firm that I worked, and we billed hourly for everything. So everything was hourly, and that's kind of why I started it that way. But moving forward, it's been much easier for us to set a flat rate price, which I'll go into on the next slide. But I don't actually have any experience with percentage based projects, but I switched from hourly to flat rate partly because of a larger mindset shift that I really didn't want to connect trading my time for money anymore. Like always thinking like I have to work this many hours to make this much money felt very limiting. But also, it was easier for me not to have to keep track of hours and send out monthly invoices. I have never been good at that. Never, never, never. And then hunt people down who paid late. And if you have 10 projects and you're sending out 10 invoices every 4 weeks, it's too much. And then also, clients seem to me, they've been much more receptive to knowing the full design fee investment upfront. One other important thing to take into account with flat rate, though, is that you have to be really, really clear and almost ruthless, dare I say, on your package inclusions, deliverables, and your boundaries with clients. Otherwise, you can end up losing money pretty quickly, as probably a lot of you, whatever field of design you're in, you probably, a lot of us, if you're doing flat rate, you know about this already. So this is how we price our services. And while it looks very straightforward, the nice thing is that this structure leaves us wiggle room to look at the property and the project scope and to talk to the client and then increase or decrease the fee depending on what we think will be involved. So for instance, we do areas like stairways and hallways free with a full home furnish. And normally we won't charge an entry as a small room or a walk-in closet as a small room. But if we think the project is going to be demanding or more time consuming, then we'll add additional things like that to the quote. And it's still totally above board because it's all itemized. The client can approve it. It just gives us a little bit of more freedom to make adjustments if needed. So we'll talk more about defining your deliverables shortly, but it's really important to be clear with your clients from the start exactly what that design fee includes. This is the best way, I promise, to avoid any issues later on. Other additional revenue streams that we add on the side of our design business or our design fees are affiliate commissions and then hourly consultations. And then we also do add-ons. Not all of our design packages include like finishes, fixtures, or any kind of like remodel consulting. So those are additional things that we add on as well. I'm going to do a mini deep dive on affiliate commissions and everything like that in a few minutes, but I did want to touch on the hourly consultation point really quickly too. We've been doing this for 4 years now, and it really is a great source of an additional revenue. So it's basically like the expert, if you're familiar with that. We have a dedicated landing page set up where a client can choose a time for an hour-long Zoom call and then make a payment and check out. And then they can add any notes that they want about what they want to cover, but we don't do anything at all outside of that call other than just like reviewing their notes a few minutes beforehand. Then we sit down on Zoom with them and we talk through all the questions they have. We give our input and ideas, and then we help them build a plan for moving forward. We charge $250 for each hour call, and there are no contracts, follow up, or additional strings attached. So it's a great way to add an extra revenue stream. And if you get any pushback or like clients that just want to do one room, or if they may not want to do the whole design fee, then you can like downsell them to an hour consultation. So instead of saying, hi, I'm a designer and I'm accepting clients. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This is an example of a recently, I'm sorry. I just lost my notes. I lost my spot in my notes. Anyway, this is an example of a recent design project quote. So you can kind of see how it totaled out. And this is for a 6-bedroom property in Asheville. And they have an indoor pool, an outdoor pool. It's a huge property. It's 6,000 square feet. But it just kind of gives you the breakdown of what we charged the client for there. Sorry, one second. Okay, so moving on to affiliate commissions. In traditional full service design, we use markups, which you all know. Markups mean that you buy the furniture from a trade manufacturer or from wherever, you mark it up, and then you resell it to the client. And there are a number of reasons that this isn't convenient for virtual designers. So I think a lot of people assume that their only profit is going to come from the design fees, but that should not be the case. Adding additional income streams is how the business becomes profitable fast. It takes a little bit of practice and some ingenuity and some learning, but I'm here to tell you that it is definitely possible. So, affiliate marketing is, by definition, the process by which affiliates, you, earn a commission for marketing another person's or company's products. In the virtual design world, we do this with trackable links. So, when you share an affiliate link to a product and someone else uses that link to buy that product, or sometimes anything else on the entire website, the purchase is tracked and you get a commission. And this does not add to the price of the item on the buyer's end. So the majority of online retailers have their own affiliate programs, but there are a few platforms that are going to give you access to numerous programs with just one login. And I'll talk about those here in a sec, but affiliate commission percentages will vary by retailer. And again, if you're used to a full service markup, this is not going to sound like a lot, but in general, you're going to get between 3 to 14% commission. And if you have the opportunity to affiliate link everything that you are selling, the amount that you can make is just really, honestly, almost unlimited. So on average, you can add at a minimum an additional, an additional 1,000 to each virtual design project. But I would say that the average take home in affiliate commissions for our projects would be around $5,000. For bigger projects, it's significantly more. So I'd say we're usually between like 3,000 to 10 to 15,000 in affiliate commissions per project. So keep in mind that this does not come with any additional responsibilities. No procurement, no POs, no order tracking, no receiving, no install, no taking care of damages. None of that is in our wheelhouse. This is just a cherry on top of our design fees. Affiliate commissions can be a tremendous way to add income to your business without adding any additional responsibility. One of the best things about it, I think, is that you don't have to deal with chasing clients down for payment, um, or any of the like other little responsibilities that I just mentioned, especially like sales tax and remitting and nationwide remitting. It's just a lot of headache that isn't involved. So you just get a percentage of the sales that the client makes through the links that you provide them. Another great thing is that many retailers offer a cookie window. So you not only get commission on whatever the client buys after clicking your link, you also get a commission on anything else they buy in the given cookie window. So sometimes that's a week, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a month, rarely, but sometimes. You can also use these links to generate additional income by sharing your designer faves, shoppable design boards, or shop the look boards on social media, or you can even share them directly within certain Facebook groups. So it can be a lot of income when you do it right. But of course, as always, I want to be transparent about the drawbacks too, because there are definitely drawbacks. So first, the tracking isn't always reliable. So for instance, and this isn't always the case, but just an example, if a client clicks on the link from their phone and it automatically opens the retailer's app instead of a browser website, you may not have that commission tracked. They're making adjustments for this nowadays, like more recently, but it has been a problem in the past. Or if they use the link to put something in their cart, but they don't check out for a week, you may not get the commission for that. Those are just examples, but again, there are best practices and things that we do to ensure we get the most accurate reporting on our sales. Just something to be aware of though. Commission revocation or sale returns are another drawback, sale returns. And they're one that we've been having a big problem with recently, particularly with Wayfair. So this is where they track your sales, they grant your commission, and then they revoke it for some reason that isn't always very transparent. They usually call it a sale return, but we know it's not a sale return. We know the client didn't return it. And it's something that we've been trying to work directly with them on getting more transparency on, but I don't want to lie, it has been an issue. And then honestly, yeah, I just want to be totally straightforward here today and say that like while we have been using affiliate commissions with tremendous success over the past few years, we have had some issues crop up over the last month or so that have made us realize that we are not in control of this system. So that is a drawback. So specifically, again, Wayfair, we use Wayfair a lot for our projects since it's Airbnb design and usually on such a quick timeline. And it's worked out really well because in the past, Wayfair has offered a great commission for affiliate sales, often close to 10%. And when we're doing, huge projects, that really adds up. But they have recently begun to change their rules and they're no longer wanting virtual designers to share their links privately with clients. So now all other retailers that we link to are still totally fine, but since we use so much Wayfair, it's thrown a wrench into how we do things. And it's just a good reminder, honestly, that we're not 100% in control of things when it comes to affiliate commissions. So just wanted to be transparent about the good and the bad sides of how we do it. This is how we maximize our earnings with affiliate links. So first of all, we link every single thing that we possibly can. This is why we also include a stocking items list for all of our Airbnb clients. We have a list of go-tos that are already linked and we provide it to our clients, meaning we get commission on every single sheet and towel and tissue box and mattress and television that they order for their property. So even if you're not doing Airbnb design, there are a lot of ways to get creative with this, whether it's, if you are working with residential clients, you can send them, the mattress, send them links to the mattress that they should get for the bed that you chose, send them, again, like your go-tos of things if they're moving into a new house, that kind of thing. And then another way that we maximize earnings, you can also affiliate link finishes. If you are proposing tile or plumbing fixtures, anything like that, you can get affiliate commission on that too. Another way that we maximize our earnings is by looking for the retailer with the highest commission. So we know that nowadays pretty much everything is sold via multiple different retailers online. And basically what we do is we go onto the affiliate platform that we use and we just check the different commissions. Or, you'll know after you do it for a while who has the best commissions on what. But if you find something you like, you can shop it yourself, Google image search it, and find what retailer sells it for the best at the best commission, and that way you can make more money for yourself. So it used to be that LTK was the end all be all in the affiliate commission world, and it's pretty hard to get approved for. It was the best because it offered access to commissionable links from a huge number of retailers, as well as having a built in shop where you could curate all of your favorite products by group, by room. You could do shop the looks. They had a lot of stuff. But in the past year or so, quite a few more LTK competitors have popped up. Mavely is one that has instant approval, and it has been very reliable for a while. But it didn't have the same number of retailers as LTK, although I think that that's changing and that they have actually added a lot more. So ShopMy is actually my current favorite because it's nearly identical to LTK in terms of number of retailers, shop interface, and I actually think I might like their interface even better. And it's a lot easier to get approved for. Again, this is a huge conversation and could be an entire training in itself. This is something that we focus a lot on in our virtual designer community, but I just wanted to give an overview of what we do and how we do it so it can kind of get your brain moving. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about here is what you should and shouldn't be responsible for in virtual STR projects or virtual projects of any kind. And again, I know that people do things different ways. This is how we do it. So you need to lay out your process. And your process should be crystal clear and it should be well articulated to your clients from the very beginning. It needs to be included in your quoting process, your discovery process, and your contract. And there should be no question on what your process and what your deliverables include. Ask me how I know. I promise you that being clear on this from the beginning is going to save you so much time and headache. So here's what our process includes. We have an inquiry form and a quote builder. That's our first point of contact. So we have our client, anybody who wants to become a client interested, they do that first. Then from there, we review that and we review all their answers and we send them a link to book a discovery call with us. Once we get them on board, once we invoice them, then we do our concepts and our finding your story worksheet, which is oh my gosh, my words, a proprietary thing that we do at Hayes & Co. And it's part of our virtual Airbnb design process. And then we do a kickoff call with our clients. So we have other than the discovery call, we only have 2 calls with our clients for the whole project. Then after that, we do the space planning, we do the furniture layouts, we do sourcing and design boards. We put it all together onto a presentation, which we then send out to our client the day before the presentation call so they can kind of wrap their brain around it before we get on the call. Then we walk them through the whole thing in a 1 to 2 hour, depending on the size of the property, presentation. At that point, they can request any revisions that they would like to make. So we offer 1 round of revisions in our package. And then after that, if they want more, they can pay for it at our hourly rate. Once they approve the design, we start our 1-week window. And that's where they have to place all of their orders, or if they place all of their orders within 1 week from design approval, and anything happens to be out of stock or no longer available, then we will reselect at no additional cost. Otherwise, after that, again, we'll still do it, but they need to pay hourly because it just takes more time at that point. And then again, we send our stocking items list after that. And then after we send the install guide, and we do offer install support, but the install guide is the last deliverable that we send. Let's see. Oh, I lost my spot on my notes again. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. So ensuring successful projects and repeat clients starts with, first of all, making sure that you are confident that the design can be executed successfully, which is why space planning is so important. I cannot stress this enough. If you are doing virtual design and proposing furniture pieces, you should be doing space planning. I feel like all of us are probably doing this, but I just wanted to reiterate because I have come across designers who don't. So We have streamlined our process after a lot of testing to include only 2D furniture layouts for our design presentations, unless the client specifically pays for 3D modeling or rendering. That said, we are still doing the 3D modeling of every project on our end, but we just don't share that with the clients. So I can talk more about that if anyone has questions, but it really has proven to be like the most efficient way to go for us. Even though we will likely never set foot in the property, we do use a number of different tools to make sure the final result looks exactly as we planned or as close as possible, as it's rarely perfect. Um, and I would really love to do a deep dive on all of this. I really don't have time today, but we have templates for all of that in the community. Happy to answer questions at the end too. I did want to touch on the shopping list real quick because the shopping list is where you're going to bring all of that additional income in. So it's really important to make sure you're clear with the client that they need to be using your links to order. Make sure to give your clients a really nicely presented list, a way to mark off what they have ordered, and a way to communicate with you on out of stock items or revisions that are needed. I'm also going to touch on the install guide. The install guide is one of the most important parts of my design process. And a lot of clients and designers that I talk to all seem fairly surprised that we provide something this detailed. But the reason we do it is threefold. So, number one, it ensures that the design can be executed to my own standards and makes it possible for the client to execute it in a way that we will want to share and put our names on as part of our portfolio. And number two, it makes clients very happy to be able to execute the design. If they're confused, don't know where to put things, it adds to their stress and their difficulty instead of reducing it. And then it decreases their overall satisfaction with the project. Number three, it drastically reduces the number of questions that our clients come back to us with during the install because we've already given them all of the information. And this frees up a lot of our time on the back end. So this is what our install guide looks like. And it's very detailed. You can obviously do whatever you want, but we include furniture layouts, rug placement, design boards, fixture locations, paint schedule if there is one, detailed description of exactly where to put each item that we have proposed. And then we also include default guides on kitchen organization, how to hang whatever type of window treatments we propose, and any other specific information that just might make their lives easier. And those are copy and paste overall guides versus the specific detailed information of like the layouts and everything. We also offer install support. So if they do have questions while they're in the thick of it, or something doesn't come or isn't what it's supposed to be, we are available for FaceTime or a phone call to troubleshoot. I don't include this in the contract because it's a hard thing to quantify, but I do include my phone number on the install guide with a note that says, call Paige with any questions. And my assistant designers and my team, we all do the same. So because we all want the end result to be successful. And if we can get there by answering a few questions, even better. So once you know what your packages are and what will be included, the next most important thing is making that clear to your clients. Don't assume that they read about it on your website and are now pros on what to expect from the process. Just lay it all out for them. Make sure that you discuss it on the discovery call with them, reiterate it in the quote, and then just kind of give them like play by plays as you move through the process. And that really cuts down on a lot of like, oh, well, I thought this was going to be included. Or, I know I waited 8 weeks to place my orders, but all these items are out of stock now. Can you reselect them? And then you don't have like a leg to stand on in setting a boundary there, which is going to lead me to talking about boundaries. And oof, that's the most uncomfortable part, at least for me. And our packages are our packages, and they are priced the way they are for a reason. Because they include that set series of deliverables, we guarantee that those are going to produce a great outcome for the client. But then there are always going to be people who want to be more involved. They want to message you more, they want more revisions, they want to jump on more calls. And unfortunately, like our packages don't allow for that. So personally, we're always willing to go further and add those things in for clients because we do want them to be happy in the end, but we have to bill extra for them. And this can be a tricky conversation to have. Honestly, we now try to just weed these clients out from the start and either add that wiggle room in the design fee that we talked about earlier, or just let them know that we're busy and unfortunately won't be able to help with their project. We'll talk about those red flags and how to spot them in just a minute. But from time to time, we have the additional billing conversation or we're actually not responsible for that part of things conversation. And we just keep it as friendly as possible, but also making it clear that we're saying that what we're, sorry, making it clear what we're saying so there's no confusion. Don't forget that you're the boss and you don't have to negotiate with anyone. If you've been clear from the start with what's included and what they paid for, then you have no reason to negotiate that. And then it's also important to keep in mind that there are some people that you can never make happy, no matter how above and beyond you go. These people will keep asking and expecting more and more and more. And when you finally do get to the finish line, chances are they still won't be thrilled with the outcome. They will feel like they are responsible for any success, and they will think that they deserved any additional time and effort that you put in. You'll lose money on the project. You're going to be stressed and upset. You're going to be frustrated. And in the end, you still won't have a happy client. So in situations like this, it's best to just deal with it as soon as you see the red flag and as soon as they start to ask for more. So remind them what they paid for and what the package includes. Let them know you're happy to help them out with more if you have the time and the capacity to do so, but that you will need to bill your hourly rate as stated in the contract. So they'll either get really offended or they'll agree to pay, or both. But either way, you'll be sticking to your boundaries and at least getting paid for your time, or you won't have to do any extra work because they'll say no. So don't work for free, especially for domineering clients. Oh my gosh, I am running out of time. I need to keep moving. I want to answer your questions. Sorry. I don't have a hard stop at noon, but okay. So what are the red flags? Whenever we have a problem client, we go back and we rewatch all of our discovery calls. We record everything. And that's a huge suggestion for everybody. We record everything we do. So we watch our discovery calls, we watch our kickoff calls, and we really try to hone in on how to read between the lines in the inquiry form and like during the discovery process to make sure we see these folks coming a mile away. So some of the red flags are, they have a lot of asks, and especially like, I don't know, like it's just, if they're very small nitpicky things, and when combined with them saying I'm not picky, a lot of people say like, oh no, I'm not picky, I just really want to see what you come up with. And but they have a lot of input, and so that is a red flag for us. Price negotiation is another red flag. And then asking, well, what happens if I don't like the design you come up with? Another red flag. So those are just some of the big ones that we always look out for. The next thing that I wanted to chat about regarding boundaries that also segues nicely into offboarding is, when does the project end? This is something that needs to be super clear with the deliverables you offer. Otherwise, you might be fielding questions and emails for like years to come. So for us, it's after the install is complete. We have our set deliverables. We offer install support if they have questions. When things are being put into place, that's it. And then, of course, are some clients that we will go above and beyond for. Some people that we love working with, and we'll do more for them, but it's by choice rather than like by necessity. And then the other part of offboarding that we do is we send out a questionnaire. So we ask not only for a testimonial, but we also ask the client how they felt about different parts of the process, how we did overall, how satisfied they are with their design, and if there's anything that we could have done better. We really, truly care about our clients and their experience with us and getting it right. I was at a design conference last year where the founder of a very well-known e-commerce site that also offers design services was speaking. And she said that they always ask for their customers' testimonials as soon as they deliver the design presentation, because they found that that's when clients are the happiest with their services. They said that they found problems often come up during the install that make the clients unhappy or less likely to leave a positive review. And honestly, I heard that and I was just like, what the hell? We want to know how everything went for our clients so that we can improve. We want our clients to have such a great experience that they're going to recommend us to anyone and everyone. And if something's wrong, we want to know, and we want to make changes to make it better. I'm not talking about the impossible to please clients, but in general, we want to have a great reputation, which means asking questions and then taking the answers to heart. The other thing is photos. So getting photos of your virtual design projects is notoriously difficult, particularly for residential projects. And first of all, because clients often execute your design 100% on their own timeline, meaning they might do some now, some later, some next year, and getting a pro to come into someone's house is difficult. Not all clients are going to be great at taking Insta-worthy pictures on their phones, but with some coaching, you can help them do that. You can offer incentives for purchasing and installing things all at once. You can send a link to an iPhone photography course. We have one of those. I have one that's specifically for short-term rental photography, but the results are great for residential photos as well. So you can also offer a photography consultation in your package where you'll walk them through getting the property photo ready via FaceTime, help them get the shots, that kind of thing. And so that's one reason we're very fortunate to do short-term rental design, because all the projects are on a time crunch. All the properties are set up and staged as beautifully as possible in a short timeline with a professional photographer scheduled to come right away. In our contract, we do also have verbiage that requires us to have sharing access to any pro photos that are taken of the property. Usually the photographers that we work with are happy for us to share, but on the chance that they aren't, we want our client to cover the additional costs of us using the photos. So again, we lay that out from the beginning. And don't forget to ask for referrals. Okay, so last thing, filling the pipeline. Never ending discussion in our industry, no matter where you design, how you design, what you design. Once you are established and you have successful projects that you've completed, you'll get a lot of referrals. But in the meantime, you have to go out and tell people that you exist, which for whatever reason is, I know, hard for so many of us. We're great at design. We love talking about design, but we don't love talking about how great we are at design. We've got to get past it. So there are a number of ways that you can find clients for virtual design projects. First and foremost, you need to think about the style or niche or type of client that you want to be working with. That will definitely determine how you go about getting in front of the right people. My favorite and most successful method has been Facebook groups. Like I said, I did an entire training for Design Files last year on this, and everything I said then still holds true. So if you didn't see that training, it's on YouTube, I think, and we could probably link it somewhere, I imagine. And follow the steps that I laid out there. It works. There are also designer directories that you can be part of. I think that Architectural Digest has one, House Pro has one, although there are definitely mixed reviews on that platform. Minoan Experience, which is a short-term rental group purchasing platform, they have one. And then some platforms also have like preferred vendor lists. So in addition to Facebook groups, online networking is huge, the same way that in-person networking can be. So reach out to realtors, builders, property managers, anyone you can think of who might be working with people that you want to work with. See if you can get on Zoom with them just to talk about what they do and what you do and how you can potentially help their clients. And you'll be surprised how well this works. I don't have a ton of experience with ads and boosted posts, but I will say that I have heard that better results come from more organic methods because people need to see who you are and hear about what you're doing a number of times before they'll trust you to design their property without ever meeting you. But in combination with social media and social networking, ads could potentially be a good source of clients. Word of mouth is the other important thing. And I feel like this is where online makes it even better, because if someone shares your name somewhere online publicly, you're not just getting a person-to-person referral, you're getting street cred and also the chance for hundreds or thousands of people to see that referral. So ask your clients to share your name anywhere they can. Shout it from the rooftops if they had a good experience. All right. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. That was so much. And I feel like I was just like blasting you with a fire hose, but that is all I have for today. If you want to connect on social, Instagram is great. And then if you found value here, we would love for any or all of you to join our virtual designer inner circle membership community. So yeah, QR codes, I'm going to let that stuff speak for itself and happy to answer questions.
Yay! Awesome job. We got a lot of great comments saying how helpful this presentation is. And yes, there will be a replay. We'll be sending out the replay and we can include the slides in that that we're going to send via email. And then there's also going to be the replay on our Facebook page. So find that there. Okay, so diving into some questions, I'm just going to pop this up here. So how do you do the 3D design? Do you have a measurement format for them to follow?
We do. So we have a PDF on how clients can, or how anybody can measure their space. And it's like step by step, making a floor plan, what to measure, elevations that we need. But what we use now is Matterport. So we, again, require that. We tell our clients that they're going to need that upfront, that they need to have a Matterport technician come and do a 3D virtual walkthrough of the property, because you can measure from that. And there's a margin of error that is usually, it could be like 1 to 2 inches. So it's, if you're doing like full kitchen redesign, you're gonna need field measurement. But it's great for furnishing, and we use it for every project.
Makes sense. We also get a question about if there's any minimums for affiliate links, if you've had that problem.
No, there isn't any minimum. For like LTK, for getting approval, they have weird, very non-transparent requirements for like follower count and engagement levels on Instagram. But like I said, Mavely is instant approval. There are long commission windows, so it will take a long time for the commissions to be paid out once you get them, but there are no minimums.
Okay. We did get a few questions about the Wayfair. How do you get affiliates? How do you get the affiliates from Wayfair? Does Wayfair have their own affiliate? What do you ask at Wayfair? So maybe you can dive into that a little bit more.
Yes. Okay. It's a tricky one right now because, like I said, they have recently changed their rules, and they are not being super clear on what those rules are. I don't know if they know it themselves at the moment, but basically, to this point, what we do is we use either Mavely or LTK or ShopMy. All of those have Wayfair as an affiliate partner. ShopMy and LTK both have, I think, the best commission on Wayfair. So you can check out ShopMy, and then you can link directly to Wayfair. So basically, with any of these platforms, you set up like a little Chrome extension. Whenever you're on the page you want to link, like the product that you want to link from Wayfair, you click your little Chrome extension, and it's going to generate an affiliate link for you. That's what you share with your client. You copy that link, you share it, that tracks the purchase. Again, though, Wayfair is tricky right now. Like, I don't want to tell you to go and do this when they've recently said that they don't necessarily want designers to be like sharing things privately with their clients. They want things to be public. So if you want to put those links publicly on your website, and then just send your client there, you can do that. But yeah, I don't want to give you the wrong info right now. I don't have all the right info myself. Every other retailer, that's how you do it, and that's how it works.
Can you share which affiliates you've had like the best experience with and that you like use the most often?
I think so. Really, it's going to be LTK, Mavely, and ShopMy. And I would say LTK has been like the stronghold. Again, it's harder to get approved for, but it's just always been there. Like they have the most retailers. ShopMy is second, and it's much easier to get approved for. So I would suggest probably starting with ShopMy would be my suggestion.
Okay, great. And then are you comfortable sharing like what you're charging hourly or what you try to earn hourly?
Our hourly rate is $150 an hour. So I've considered bumping it to $175 this year. Haven't done it yet, but that's what we move clients over to after deliverables have been completed. If they still want anything else, we do hourly at $150 an hour.
Okay, makes sense. Let's see. When clients try to like push for more revisions, what's your thoughts on like being more firm on boundaries?
It's so hard. It's never comfortable. Like no matter how much experience, how many, things you put into place, like it's never comfortable to have that decision. But I would say that like my best advice is just like from the beginning, let them know what to expect. So say you get one round of revisions, and then when you do the design process, say, let us know if there's anything in here you'd like, or I said the design process, I meant the design presentation. Say, if there's anything in here you would like a revision on, let us know, we'll get them done. Then it's going to be time to place your orders. And so having that like having a timeline laid out for the client that they have access to, I think is the very best way. And when they ask for more, if it's something tiny and you don't want to like, upset the boat, that was not even a saying. You can just do something tiny, but like you may see that they're going to ask for more and more, and like put your foot down when you need to and just switch them to hourly billing because they already know it's coming.
Okay, makes sense. And then for your 400 price point, do you try to like calculate, okay, I'm only going to spend, you know, what it would be 2.5 hours or something to get that 150, right?
Yeah. So for the 400, I saw that question pop up, and for the 400 room, that's any room without furniture. So there's no space planning. It's usually like a bathroom or a kitchen that just needs accessories. And I would say that is probably like an hour max for a room like that. And so that's kind of how it like helps even out with the rooms that take more time, if that makes sense. We don't ever do like just a bathroom.
Okay, makes sense. What about support time? How do you manage that like kind of client support aspect?
It's different for different clients. Again, like I said, this is it if you're doing residential, it's probably going to need to be like adjusted. But our Airbnb clients have deadlines of when things have to be launched for the, to like regain their investment, and like they know like when they've got to go live, they got the photographer coming. So like we have a deadline. We know it's going to end. And so we're usually happy to answer questions. If they're asking redundant questions, because we give them so much information, if they're asking redundant questions, we'll just be like, that's in the install guide on this page. That's in the install guide. And like, eventually they kind of get the point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let's see. What about other like more standard rooms? How long would that take to go through?
That's a great question. And we actually don't, it's kind of a tricky one to answer because we don't really do single room design. So it's always a full property or at least a number of rooms. We have a 2,500 minimum for design fee. So because for that reason, because like if you're doing a kickoff call and, space planning and a, design board and a design presentation and a presentation call and an install guide all for one room, that's going to take way more time than like per space than if you're doing it for like a whole property at once. So it's kind of a hard one to answer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. What about payment timing? How do you like when and how do you collect payments?
We used to do the full design fee upfront in order to initiate the project, again, because like in the past I have been burned. But I had a number of clients say to me like, I've been burned. They were like, I have been burned in the past, and when I've had to pay somebody up front and they ran off with my money. And I was like, okay, like that's reasonable. Like I can see your side of things. So we do 50% to initiate the project. And
Mm-hmm.
then we do the other 50%. We send that invoice the day before the design presentation call. And we don't give them their shopping list or their install guide or anything until they've made that final payment.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So yeah, we just
So
make sure we don't give them
they get the design, but they get to see the design, but they don't get to
yeah,
see the install guide.
exactly. Like they wouldn't be able to execute the design if they didn't make the final payment.
Right. Okay. So how about explaining affiliate link usage to clients? How do you explain that? And then what do you do if they don't use your affiliate links?
um, so it is a conversation that you need to have, and the best way to have it, like, is by saying that we don't mark anything up. So you're still getting the best price available, and we're getting a small commission on the back end from the retailer. And that's a great way. That's the truth, and it's the best way to pose it. And you actually legally do have to disclose that to your clients. So then if you don't get the commission, there's nothing to be done about it. So that's a drawback. Like, and that's one of the ways that like you're not in control of it. It's the same way as if like you were to make a presentation to your client and then they went and shopped it online and got it at a lower price and then you get nothing. It's a bummer. And so it's just kind of that education with your client, talking to them about it from the beginning. And usually they're pretty cool about it.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably not an issue very more.
It can be, and weird things do happen, like where it doesn't track, or it just weird things do happen, and that's why I wanted to be really like clear about what can happen with the affiliate links. So, but yeah, just tell your clients, because that's the other thing too, is if they find it for a lower price, like usually you could probably affiliate link it wherever they found that lower price too. So just tell them, like if they find something lower price, send it to you and you'll link it for them.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, we are over by 5 minutes. Are you cool to go 5 more minutes?
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's
I'm
totally
fine.
fine.
I'm
Okay.
totally fine.
Okay,
Sorry,
awesome.
I
We'll
like
go for 5 more minutes. Thank you for all
forever.
these rapid fire answers. Let's see, what about contracts? We did get a few different questions on contracts. Of course, you know, you're not a lawyer, but do you have any tips or resources?
Yeah, I do. So our contract template, that's in our resource center of our membership community. And it's a template, and it's the same one that we use for all of our projects. I am not a lawyer, so I cannot tell you that it is the perfect thing for you, but I will say that our lawyer did review it for us and we use it. And that is available just as part of the membership. But I think it's very important to lay out everything in the contract, lay it all out there, have them sign it. If anything comes up, like referring back to that is huge. So ours is less like legalese and more straightforward. And it's worked out really, really well for us.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's see. How do you get the client to cover the photography fee?
Our clients, again, we do Airbnb design. It's a little bit different. So our clients already are paying for a photographer for a pro photographer because they are listing that property. And we have photographers that we prefer to work with. So a lot of times we'll send those names to our clients up front and like a little discount for them. But it's a little bit different than if it's like residential. And in that case, like I would suggest if you want photos, talk to your client about it, and you probably are going to want to pay for that photographer.
Yeah. In that case, if you're recommending somebody, is that because you're like serving like a general area, or do those photographers travel?
They travel. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Do you have a template package? I'm not 100% sure what that means, but maybe.
Yes, we do. Also, again, all of the stuff, all of our deliverables, everything, there's templates for it in our membership area, and it's Canva is what we use mostly. And then, but again, if you guys use design files, you can just kind of take a look at what we have and bring it over in there. There are a lot of different platforms that you can use to make it successful. But yeah, we do have templates available for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you go on vacation rental sites to source clients?
No. Do you mean like if you mean like Airbnb or like Verbo or anything? That's no, because hosts do not like being direct messaged through there because they have to respond within a certain amount of time or it affects their response rate. So if you can, Facebook groups are the best for that. There are lots of Facebook groups dedicated specifically to vacation rental hosts. And that's the best place to find them. They're looking for design help on those groups too.
Okay, makes sense. Let's see. I can't find where that one went, but it was something about like where do you put how do you set up the affiliate links, and where are you showing them to clients? Like
we use a Google Sheet, but again, like it's wherever you are, however you're sending the shopping list. So we have templates, but if you do use design files, like you can put affiliate links in design files and send them to your clients, that kind of thing. So
just depends. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. How many clients can you take on in a month?
It depends on the sizes of projects that we have going. So, if it's a little project that we blow through it, in general, like our timeline is between 3 weeks to 6 weeks for final deliverables. So if it's a small project, we'll do the design presentation like 3 weeks from kickoff call. If it's a big project where we're helping with remodel and that kind of thing, 6 weeks. And I realize that like this is alarmingly fast to anybody who's doing full service, but it's just the nature of this business or this side of things.
Yeah. Okay. This isn't a question. I'm just throwing this up here for anybody that wants these resources. But Starla's saying that Wayfair clawed back a ton of commission from me. I like to use Daniel House, Studio Mine, and Minoan. So just a tip if anybody wants to try that. Let's see. How do you make certain all colors work when everything is done on a computer screen? Ooh.
Great question. So for paint colors and stuff like that, obviously we have our go-to like whites and things that we kind of know how they change and how they, look in different types of settings. And we give our clients a list of options, a list of like top 3 suggestions for each thing. And then again, we disclaim everything that like this is virtual design. Like you have to test it. You have to get samples. We are not responsible if it doesn't look how you think it's gonna look.
Yeah.
And so just making people aware of that. But as far as like fabrics and stuff, I mean, any more product images are great. We also really, really lean heavily on review photos. So things online, like we hop right down to the review photos to see how it actually looks.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, we're going to do 2 more questions. So your install guides are very thorough. How much time do you spend putting those together?
Quite a bit of time. They are time consuming. They're other than the Google Sheet, which again, like that's something that we're trying to streamline a little bit this year. And I would say the install guide is the most time consuming thing, but it is also like the most appreciated thing by the clients. And it really ensures that it's going to be successful and that everything ends up where it's supposed to be and that they have the information. So it's definitely worth it.
Okay. And then our last question, I've got a couple different related similar questions in terms of like, how big is your team? How long did it take you to create your support team? Who are you working with?
For a long time, it was just me. And then last year, yeah, we just had so many inquiries and like so many on deck projects that I was like, okay, we need to expand. So I actually I work with, I have a co-design program and it's on pause right now. I don't want to like say too much about it. It's on pause because of a few different reasons, but basically started pulling members of our BDIC community who are like very involved, have kind of like gone through all the programs, know all of what we do in and out in the process. And then they get to kind of like work on projects with me in a tiered capacity until they are fully responsible for the projects. And then they get to keep everything and like use it in their portfolios and put their name on it and the clients know about them and stuff so that they can then like use it as a leg into launching their own business successfully.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
a really smart system. I love
But we
that.
have 11, so that's how many.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps us up for today. We got so many positive comments thanking you for how thorough this was and how detailed. I'm going to throw up the QR codes on the screen again in case anybody wanted to check those out. And then, guys, the replay will be on our Facebook page, and then we're also going to send out an email with the replay and the slides. Paige, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay, everybody, have a good rest of your day. Bye.